All right, so here we are. I'm outside. I hope the wind isn't really bad for the audio, but this is pretty interesting. So this huge field, and you can see way over there. Let's try to get a close-up. See all of that plant with the little yellow flowers on it? That is a huge field of gorse south of Bandon. And I'm going to show you what the cool thing is, one of the cool things. So this is Scotch broom, and you see that all over the place. It's just that plant that's got the little green, their little yellow flowers on it. It's kind of a weed, it grows, but then there's this other one that's got little yellow flowers on it, and you can see it up there. And this is gorse. And I just want to show you this wicked plant. I don't want to touch it because it's pokey. See, this is a thorn. Look at that. And it's hard. It's like a stick. And I mean, these are the size of a large toothpick. So the story on this plant is, see that field of them? Well, back in I think it was 71 or something, a guy named George Bennett, Lord George Bennett, founded the town of Bandon, and this was a plant that he brought from Ireland with him because he really liked it. Well, it did really well here, and it spread like crazy, and before you know it, people were kind of using, some people call it Irish fence because they would put it around their property because it had all these thorns, so it was difficult for things to cross into their fields and things. So anyway, gorse has an oil in it that is very much like, I would say, kerosene or diesel fuel or something, because it will catch on fire very easily. In fact, gorse is what they call a phoenix plant. It's something that thrives when it completely burns out every decade or so, and it will actually spread after a big fire because it destroys all the other plants and it really gives it more opportunity to spread. So in 1936, I think it was September the 29th, there was a huge fire in the town of Bandon because there was a logging operation and they were doing some clear cut burning, and the wind, which is really kind of windy here because it's close to the ocean, blew some of the sparks over onto the gorse in town, and immediately the gorse caught on fire. And the firemen said it was like putting water on a grease fire because it would just splash the oil everywhere, and before you know it, the entire town was on fire. And people were running from Bandon through the streets to get out of town, where the fire department was ferrying them across the Coquille River, and they would try to get to the dunes, and they were hiding behind driftwood or anything they could do to protect themselves from the fire. They were even covering themselves with sand. And so in the end, in that one day, the founder's favorite plant actually caused a fire that destroyed the entire town. Out of 500 homes, only about 16 were left. 10 people died. They say that that's because they were trying to retrieve things from their house that they felt were valuable. But anyway, so there's a kind of a cool plant here that's just amazing, and this plant is actually responsible for destroying an entire town. So I just wanted to share that with you. Kind of neat stuff. Well, not neat, but interesting. Thanks for watching. So I finished that whole bit, and I think maybe I didn't give you a good enough look at this plant. A close enough look at the spikes. And can you only imagine this thing burning and having to run through it on fire with those spikes? And they say that people did that. And if it gets hot enough, in hotter climates where this plant may be, the oil actually oozes out and drips on the ground. And you can see all these dead bits in here. So if this was to catch on fire, all these little dead leaves and stuff that get inside of there and dry out, it's perfect tinder. So I just wanted to share a little bit more of that wicked plant. I keep coming up with things I want to tell you about gorse, and actually it was in 1873 that Bandon was founded and gorse was introduced. But anyway, see this field of gorse? This is how you get rid of it. If you want to get rid of it, you can't just spray weed killer on it. You have to bulldoze it out of your field. So you can see all of this gorse, and if you wanted to build a house here or anything else, you would have to bulldoze all of that out of here before you could ever even start to think about using this ground. So anyway, that's just a little bit more, and I'm thinking that's just about it because it's time to go home.